this video sucks, it's not my fault, it's your fault. Because you guys are the ones that have requested a video like this forever. A video where I talk about the things that I actually like. Because apparently some of you feel that I'm kind of a sourpuss. And all I want to do is bitch and moan and complain. Well, here is a list that proves you wrong. A list of things that I genuinely just love. And the first thing on that list is complaining. That's right, I love to complain. That should be obvious to all of you by now. If you go see a really terrible movie, you can be mature and just say afterwards something along the lines of, you know, I didn't care for it, it wasn't my cup of tea, and just let things lie. But that's not nearly as fun or entertaining as just exaggerating how horrible the movie was. Like, that movie is the worst movie ever made. Everyone involved in that movie should be shot on public television while the world watches to send a message to Hollywood that if they keep making crap like this, we're going to build death camps and round them up. Because this movie is the worst damn thing I've ever seen. Another thing I like to do, I like to dine out. I don't like to eat in my own house. I don't care for it. I don't care for cooking. I don't care for doing dishes. I don't care for sitting at my boring table in my boring living room. I would rather go somewhere and have someone wait on me and pretend to be nice to me. I like making people laugh, but it has nothing to do with how they feel. It's not that the laughter and smiles of others just fill me with a great sense of joy. It just makes me feel good to know that I'm funny. I don't care if they're laughing at me or with me, as long as they're laughing, because that means that I was able to manipulate them. I was able to elicit a reaction from them that was completely involuntary, and that makes me feel good about myself. I like social deviance, and I like influential iconoclasts. I mean people that kind of go against the norm. And I'm not talking about people who are just mentally deranged, like the homeless crazy guy who thinks that cats are God. I'm talking about people who are relatively sane and recognize the system for what it is and openly rebel against it. I like those kind of people. I like going to the movies. I mean, movies are great to watch at home. I watch movies at home too. But if I have a choice, I will see a movie in theaters. Not because I like being around people, not because I care about concessions, not because I think movie theaters are particularly pleasant places, but I like the idea that you have to leave your house in order to seek out art. I really like chocolate shakes, and I wouldn't bother mentioning something so commonplace if it weren't for the fact that I really like chocolate shakes. And I guess that's not a surprise to anyone, given my sexy, rotund figure. I love shelves. I don't care what's on them. I don't care if there are books or toys or, you know, a collection of various sorts of cheeses and nuts. I don't care. In fact, I like them best when they're completely empty so that I can imagine putting my own stuff on them. I just like the promise of an empty shelf. I like certain words, like crouton, or penguin, or drugs. I just like saying certain words at random times for attention. I like puns. I try to avoid making them too often in my videos because I know that I am in a minority. I know that I have a problem. I know that I should be seeking professional help. But I like puns. And I would make a pun right now, but I can't think of one off the top of my head, so whatever. You all know what a pun is. I don't need to give you an example. I like when I fart and everyone around me is disgusted and acts like I should show some semblance of shame. I never do. I love when I make a movie reference that no one around me gets, because it makes me feel smug and superior. I also like when someone else makes a movie reference that they don't expect anyone else to get, but I get it, because that also makes me feel smug and superior. I love sleeping in. I think getting up early sucks and is completely overrated. I like to sleep. I want to sleep all day. If I can sleep until the moon comes out, that's good with me. I love subversive stand-up comedy. I love that comedians can get away with stuff that normal people can't. The things that people like Bill Hicks and George Carlin and Doug Stanhope have said on stage are things that most people can't get away with. But they were able to get away with those things because they were funny. If you make people laugh, you can say pretty much whatever you want. I like reading books on a quiet day. I like when there's absolutely nothing going on and I can just curl up with a good book. I love big empty spaces. It's kind of like the shelf principle, but on a whole new level. I love a big empty warehouse or a giant garage. I love when some fraudulent pseudoscientific claim gets debunked. Like someone claims to have stigmata, or someone claims they have psychic powers, and then a skeptic comes along and proves that they're a complete charlatan, and there's no way they can deny it. I love when shit like that happens. I love getting licked by animals, especially dogs. I like when they lick my face, I like when they lick my hands. There's certain areas that I won't let them lick for legal reasons, but as long as they don't go in the nether regions, it's all good and it's all innocent. And some people say, oh, that's gross, dogs are dirty, filthy animals. But actually, the dog is more likely to get sick than you are, because the dog's mouth has, antibacterial saliva and all that. And human saliva is like a giant germ factory where germs play like polo and shit. I love when I steal a joke and I get away with it. I love when I steal a joke and no one calls me on it. Everyone just laughs and like, wow, TJ, where do you come up with this stuff? That's great. I love when that happens. I love picking scabs. It's just so much fun to peel something off of your own skin. I love the theme songs to 80s and 90s cartoons. Like Transformers, Robots in Disguise. I love going for walks. I have all my best thoughts when I'm up and moving around. I love my own body odor. I know that I shouldn't. I know that it's not refined. I know that it means that I'm not a gentleman, but I don't care. I love what my armpits smell like. I love what my balls smell like. I love what my ass smells like. Deal with it. I love graffiti, and I'm not even talking about stuff like what Banksy does and all that high art type of graffiti. I'm talking about real simplistic shit, like just normal looking letters and primitive sentiments like fuck Obama, or here I sit brokenhearted, tried to shit but only farted. I love bathroom graffiti. I love the smell of gasoline. I don't know why, and I would never huff gasoline or something like that, but every time I go to the gas station, I just take a big whiff, because I love that scent. I love chewing on things made of plastic, especially pen caps. I also like to chew on some things that are made of wood, like toothpicks. I chew them until they become little splinters. And they get all over the house, and then people yell at me and say, don't chew on toothpicks anymore, but I just do it anyway, because who cares? I love ferrets. I didn't think I'd love them when my girlfriend forced me to get them at gunpoint, but now that I've had them for a few months, I have to admit they're pretty neat creatures. I especially like when I put ferritone on my fingers and they lick it off with their little tiny tongues. I love cactuses. I love plants that barely need any water and are covered in spindly, prickly things that will fuck up anything that gets close to them. I love watching the ceiling, especially if there's a ceiling fan going. Just I could watch that shit forever. I love pretending that I'm actually famous. Not like bullshit YouTube famous where I get recognized once every 6 months. I'm talking about real famous, where I'm on inside the actor's studio and I'm giving James Lipton these really involved answers about my childhood, and he cares and he nods. I love when I predict what's going to happen and I'm right. And then I can say, see, I knew that would happen. In the back of my mind, I know I didn't really know that was going to happen. It's just something I thought would happen, or something that I said, even though I didn't really think it was going to happen. And then if it actually happens, Wow, I look like I'm really insightful. Isn't that great? I love imagining what would happen if Earth's gravitational pull suddenly reversed and everything was repelled away from the planet. Now, I know without gravity there wouldn't even be an Earth, it would kind of just come apart. But let's just put the real science aside for a second and just pretend that everything that was on the surface of the Earth was expelled instantly and everything just flew into space. Think about that for 6 or 7 hours one day. It's real fun. I love it. I love incredibly stupid animes like Dragon Ball Z or Baki the Grappler, where everything is just completely ridiculous and it's all just like one big male ego fantasy where people are ridiculously strong and the only thing that matters in life is being able to fight better than everyone else. I love when people mispronounce words. I love it when they mispronounce words. I don't like to correct them. I mean, sometimes I do, but usually I don't. Usually I want them to keep on pronouncing the word wrong so that I can keep catching them in it and make a mental note of how stupid they are because they can't pronounce that word. I love the rough texture of old paper. You ever got one of those really old paperbacks and the paper is starting to get yellow? I love the texture of it. I especially like the sound it makes when you turn a page. It's only with that really rough old paper. New paper is too smooth. It just doesn't have that same crisp roughness to it. I love the taste of amoxicillin. You know, the pink stuff? It's like a pink liquidy medicine and most people hate it, but I love it. I think it tastes pretty good. I'd drink it all the time if I could. I love slow zombies too. I'm not talking about these new like I'm talking about like your old school shambling like and of course, I love making videos. I love getting in front of camera and bitching and complaining and saying what I got to say, and people actually care. Some people do. Well, like a few losers on the internet do, but hey, it's alright, I'm a loser too. I'm a loser, you're a loser, we're losers together, and we have loser solidarity, and it's fucking awesome. Amazing Atheist. Peace. Fuck.